about weapons. One template which is pervasive and probably not much explored in terms of symbolism and when they review the underlying meanings of movies. The template that is pervasive and obvious to see, I can call it alone. Alone. If you see the boy initially when he appears and he's alone in the classroom, it has a meaning which you can see throughout the whole movie. The whole movie is designed around that meaning. The first episode of Twilight Zone or Night 60 series, where's everybody? The narrative is built not on just the template of the guy being alone, but on the underlying narrative, which is a guy being alone, being part of an experiment. I'm just pointing out the template alone, where you can see that alone template being used very easily. Home Alone should have been my first reference. Home Alone is based on that. He had a lot of people around him. Next day he wakes up, he's alone. I thought of Alien. Right? Everyone, to a point, is singled out. You can notice through the narrative. One person is face hugged, so he's singled out, so he's alone now. Then, to a point, every person is separating or splitting, and everyone is left alone. Towards the end is just Ripley. There's other meanings. I'm pretty sure the reason why Ripley is the one left, there's the gender there, there's a lot, but I'm talking about the alone template. Ripley is alone with a cat and the alien, correct? I know she's not alone, but you can see the visual there. It looks like she is. Now let's go to a second part, just a bit more down a rabbit hole, because I always like to relate the templates you observe in movies, obviously in art in general, as you can see, with a template that may usually offer things in terms of a theory or hypothesis you observe by yourself. So before I venture into a more philosophical, let me just say how the alone template is pervasive through the narrative and the creation of weapons. In the beginning, right, it shows the boy alone. It's revealed that he is just in front of the teacher. The teacher later is called Witch. And you know that the boy has to battle, either final battle, that good against evil, boy against the old woman, in the end. So that coincidence there is not accidental, right? It's because in that scene is only he, the boy, he's alone, and the witch, metaphorized by the teacher there, right? And throughout the movie, hinted that it's not that she is the witch. Everything could be the witch. The boy is battling something that took over his reality, his world, correct? So you can see that throughout the movie, I can't remember details, but throughout the movie, you probably will see several scenes which will be designed to hint that the boy is alone against the witch. Now I will not have video. Now let's go through think about this movie in Home Alone. Kevin, he's deserted. No one is there, so he's alone. Same thing with the boy. I understand. He still exists in a world of people. But that begins with him being alone, correct? That's the whole narrative, and everything will be designed around the alone template. There's other templates, correct? I'm pretty sure they're very beautifully portrayed, but the alone is right there. And obviously you can see, talking about the eye, right? You see the cover of Weapons show the boy Not this boy, not exactly the boy alone, but the art. You can see where the alone appears. There's a boy here, the boy's there, almost like they're a shadow of each other. But let's just say the one at the center forms this I image. So the I itself has that quality, is linked to this alone realization, let's just say, that alone individual. You can think in terms of the I, the individual. Here in the art, as I'm saying, that's what the alone template is. Now let's go to how you can see where the alone template exists in the human mind, and how you can see that maybe it's just me trying to use an example to explain the alone template, or it's a genuine connection, right? It makes sense, or there's other explanations, but it's all based on this alone quality that is part to say the human mind or the human experience, or at least how it seems to be used, the alone image used as a beautiful image, as an image of awareness, an image that is pervasive and can be applied to any other philosophical perspective. Now let's go there. First, if you're still here, the reason why I decided to make this video was to exercise a little of my voice, maybe, but because lately learning how to use a bit more the tools, right, on the internet, I have used AI and text-to-voice generator tools, because that's much easier. I don't have to be here, how do you say, grappling for words, right? I don't have to think too much. It's just a thing that needs to come out, something new I want to record. It's there for my own interest or for who else. So I decided to, maybe that's one that I should just record my voice, give it a bit more value. I don't want to retire my voice yet, but let's go down the rabbit hole. How I could explain the alone template as part of the human mind. If you think, that's one example, I've used it before. Think of you in a school, in a time where you were a child in school. How many of your other classmates do you still remember? You probably can agree that the older you get, the more you will remember, correct? But each year before, you might struggle to remember who were your classmates. That's because as a kid, you're still living in the world of alone. Basically, the world is just you and yours. There's even the selfish phase is right there, right? There's a selfish phase. What's happening there is you're just gaining access to other alone entities. And then you form a cluster, a group, what you call friends. However, your community, your whole, there's large, there's levels of invisibility, right? Levels of things that you can see and that you can't see, or that you memory, let's say, can see or you can't see. That's your perspective of the world. Very easy, right? That's your perspective of the world. That's your I, or the alone. And think, why? How does that explain? I'm just explaining here. Sometimes, right, you might sit and the person right behind you, you don't know who that person is. You don't know the name, the appearance. You barely remember if it's a male or female, right? That would explain, right? It's because it's right next to you. You think you are in company, but the truth is that you are alone, because you are there focused on your universe, on your task at hand, right? That's normal. Ideas of concentration, like meditation, prayer, a lot of things that you will encounter in your life is encouraged to do alone, correct? One that is not exactly, is encouraged to do alone, but you can do in terms of 2, 3, you decide the number, but usually in a secluded place, not in the open. There's always that idea of the alone. Even if you just in 2, but still is a small number, secluded from the public knowledge, from being in, so there's that place in your mind that you have thoughts, that you have even embarrassing thoughts, intrusive thoughts, whatever is that is going on in your mind. That's your alone place. That's your alone. Your experience of life, in a way, will be determined by those things that you have in your mind. They somehow will design you, your selection of friends, your selection. It's right there. Doesn't matter who put those ideas there. If it's just a question of culture, a question of further formal education, right? Family values, whatever is put there as positives or in your mind, in your alone mind, will kind of determine your experience, like your basically alone experience of life, the experience of life that only unique to you, only you know. So that's the alone. I would say that would be the I, right? The very I. Not one. That's not the meaning of the I alone. That's not by itself. The I, I'm pretty sure, has so many meanings and it's connected to the human experience in so many ways. But I would say that one of the I embodiment of meaning is in the alone template, right? Which is used in weapons, but I'm not sure if anyone bothered, because everyone talked about and symbolism and this and that and Bible and numbers and everything. However, people sometimes don't say the one thing that is obvious, but it's also beautiful and also explains not just a movie, right? Narrative and how it's designed, but also explain a lot about how we view the world. And thank you.